Yeah, I think the time of the launch couldn't be any better because of the situation that is going around with us. Because all medicinal mushrooms can improve immunity, and I've tried it out on many of my friends who have got COVID, and I can say that they have been fully well in 2 days with no issues whatsoever.
Aloha, my beautiful friends on the other side of the screen, wherever you are. My name is Kristara Laxmi-Detten, coming to you from beautiful sunny San Diego, California. And here in Abundance in Action podcast, we believe that each one of us has a treasure box inside. And once they open it, they can start to live their dreams on their terms. And welcome to this beautiful podcast today. We have a very special guest, and this time again, from Estonia, Kris Konsap. Welcome.
Hello, Crystal. Thanks for having me. It's a big honor to be on Abundance in Action. It's so great what you're doing, and you are impacting so many people's lives. And I'm really excited to be here today.
Yeah, and I will go into how we met and all of that later. But now I want to also share a little bit of your background and who you are, and then we can dive in. So Kris was born in the last months of the Soviet Union. So it meant that the new era had begun. So your father was a construction worker, your mother was a housewife, and you have many siblings. You have actually 2 brothers and sister. And since you had a big family, only one stable source of income, you had to be very creative and couldn't maybe enjoy many of the luxuries. And while many would think that, okay, this is a disadvantage, you decided that this will be one of the biggest advantages in life. And not being born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You had to learn how to create abundance for yourself and those around you. And from your young age, you decided that you are going to break the cycle of poverty and be a great example to your future kids. You started reading books about personal growth, investing, and business, and it took some time till you got some results. But during these years, you did many odd jobs, one after the other, to pay the bills and start to feed your dreams. You painted houses, you were a taxi driver, you worked on construction sites, you worked in a farm, and your dream was to build a company that would make a difference in the world and would ignite the passion to wake up each day feeling excited and energized. And as an owner of a small supplement brand called Nutriante, Kris is helping people improve their health with medicinal mushrooms. He discovered these several years ago and was fascinated about them that he dove right in and hasn't looked back. With the help of medicinal mushrooms, he was able to get rid of his constant brain fog, chronic sinusitis. He also hasn't been sick once after he started taking medicinal mushrooms. In addition, I figured out you speak 5 languages, which is actually pretty normal for most Estonians. You also are very special because you believe that you have an old soul and you have something like you call simian lines in your hands. We'll get to those later. And you are, a very special person because you always also ask, you are always building a dream. Is it yours or someone else's? And I also like the little motto you have on your website, which is saying, a man might know how to cure a disease. Nature knows how to prevent it. And on top of everything else, you are a father, you are a biohacker and seeker of truth. Welcome.
Thank you so much for such a great introduction. I always consider myself a humble person. I don't take much credit for everything, but if I can help other people, then that's what brings me so much joy in life. And I'm so happy that I have two brothers and a sister, because that's a blessing in itself. Because I can see other people who only maybe have one brother or one sister, or some people don't have any siblings at all. And
what do you think the biggest benefit has been to have so many siblings? What has it taught you, and how has it influenced your personality?
Well, we had to consider that we had to share everything. So I couldn't just eat all the food that we had, and we had to do that, and we had to learn how to get along with each other, because as kids you don't know how to do that, and it often created problems, especially between me and my sister. With brothers it was a bit easier, but when emotions are fired up, then sometimes we started fighting. But eventually we got over it, and I think that it even strengthened our relationship, because we experienced both extremes, and that's a really good thing. And also I feel like I got so much support from my brothers and sister, and they are also my best friends, so I'm really lucky.
Yeah, I have a sister and I feel the same way. Like it's, it's not too many siblings, but she's my anchor and she knows me inside out. And we have been through so much together. So she's always there for me. Like, sometimes even friends come and go, but she's always there. She knows, and she's always telling us like, Kristo, if you have a weak moment, I'm here, just call, So it's a really nice to have that kind of support. And we met with you during our WILDFIT challenge in the first group, which was actually put together after both of us. We did the Quantum Shift program with Eric Meads, who has done lots of cooperation projects with Roland Tocco in Estonia and Success Academy. And that was really amazing experience. And both of us, we went through it like first time. And I had major breakthroughs and new changes happening. And you had also many. Can you just share with us some of the benefits and wins you picked up within this 3 months very amazing challenge?
Absolutely, yeah. It was incredible. I would say that I didn't change during WILDFIT. I transformed, because change is just an understatement. And I also saw other people and you change alongside me, and it was a really great experience. And it's something that you cannot do alone. We had such a big and supportive group, and obviously not all the people were active there, but the ones who were, they were really supportive, and they were so powerful, and they gave me so much motivation to stay on track with everything and do everything and participate in these discussions and share the breakthroughs. And when we talk about numbers, then I'm currently down 26 pounds since I started WILDFIT, and
Wow.
I look totally different. When I see other people who haven't seen me for months, they're just shocked. Actually, one people didn't even recognize me in the store. I was so different. And also the relationship with food has changed dramatically. I don't consider many things as foods anymore, and they don't have control over me.
Can you explain a little bit of that process, like people who have never heard of it, like how is this going? Like you go to the shop and you see like maybe chips or ice cream. What's happening in your head? What's the process like? Like, do you need to like think like, oh, like have like crazy dialogue in your head, or you just like feel like, oh, I have no desire for it? What's going on?
You explained it quite well. It's that I maybe used to tell myself that I can't eat it, but it creates resistance. But now I'm saying that I don't even want it. And these days, my best thing is that I don't even think about ice cream or potato chips anymore. I don't go between the aisles where they are located. I just go my own route in the shop. Initially, I think it was even more difficult to go shopping because I didn't know what I can buy and what I can't, like what's organic and healthy and what I want to eat. So I had to locate these items one by one in the store. But now it's much easier because I spend much less time there and I know exactly where to go and I just disregard everything else.
Yeah, so you don't have so much distraction and all the sales and things don't like pull you to the side or make you put some bad stuff in your basket in a way.
Exactly. And I've managed to avoid processed sugars for 5 months now. It's incredible.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
you also started to do more different kind of like morning walks, I think, which you didn't usually do. And what else changed?
I started waking up much earlier because my quality of sleep improved dramatically. Because last year I was a terrible sleeper. I just couldn't fall asleep and I always woke up tired and it was terrible. And the tiredness is just one part of the problem, but because sleep regulates all the hormones, including appetite, it makes you eat more. And it's like a vicious cycle. I also became much more conscious of what I eat and how much I eat and how my body reacts to different types of food, what makes me feel good and what makes me feel sluggish and tired and makes my stomach ache. There were so many benefits that came out of this program. And I also approached this a bit more scientifically because I measured all my key indicators like body fat and weight and my water level in the body, and also other key indicators like bone density and metabolic age. And for example, my metabolic age dropped 9 years in 3 months. It's like aging backwards.
Yeah, it's really cool. And in my case, also, I worked a lot with my sleep. And prior WILDFIT, I maybe had like, if I did like 1 hour of REM sleep every night. And after, I have my regular average is around 3 hours. But this also meant that, I had to increase the hours. And I really slept very little. So I had to put myself into a position where I actually decided I'm worth it. I will sleep more because this is so good for my health and everything else. And many of us, maybe we don't think that, while you sleep is also so much what was happening during the day is like, it's the processing of that, things are put into like right shows and, everything. And if this is very short time, then all of that processing is shortened, which means that it will influence firstly also your cognitive health and cognitive behavior. And that was one thing which I noticed right away, like, wow, my mind is so much sharper and I'm cognitively so much more productive.
Yeah, one thing I'm always thinking about that like food is such a big impact on our life because our environment doesn't affect us that much, but food is actually something that we put into our body. There are not many things that we put in our body. It's like just oxygen, it's water and nutrition like food. But everything that's inside gets absorbed by our body. From the outside, we have skin that can block UV rays or other pollution or bacteria or everything. But if we eat it inside, then it's going to affect us a whole more differently.
And now let's start to dive into this medicinal mushroom topic, which is your passion. And I just recently came to that myself, just doing some research because Ariel, who is one of the head master coaches in WILDFIT, had one recipe, which was this healthy style of chocolate mousse with avocado and cacao and so on, and maca powder. And then she also suggested to put chaga mushrooms into it. So I'm always very suspicious when there is something new I don't really know and so on. So I did some more research and I was like, wow, that seems to be like a good enhancer and a good thing. But now, before we dive in, maybe you could also explain to people who maybe haven't heard much about it. I think people, so many times they get like things mixed up. They think when you talk about mushrooms, it's all those psychedelics and, kind of get you to some trips and stuff. But here we talk about medicinal mushrooms. So what's the difference?
Well, I would say that all kinds of herbs, every food has some kind of healing benefit, but there are some others that are more potent, and that's exactly what medicinal mushrooms are. And yeah, we are not dealing with anything illegal. They have actually been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years, but just it hasn't come to our awareness because nobody is advertising it on TV, because the pharmacy companies are not interested in letting people grow their own medicine at home. Mushrooms are one of the oldest organisms on our planet, and that's where their strength comes from. They are more than 2.4 billion years old, and all this time they have been the necessity to protect themselves from the environment, from the viruses, from the bacteria. And when we extract them and take them in, then it will have similar effects on our body.
So can you also tell us how did you come to this topic, and what's your personal connection to it? Because it seems like it's really connected to your why. And I always say that if you start any business, number one thing is to figure out your why, so that your gifts can be expressed, and then also you can share it with the world. And it seems like you and your friend who you created your company, you're actually doing exactly that.
As with everything in life, it happens with chance. And my friend has a friend who is buying berries and mushrooms and all kinds of fruits from people who pick them. And then he also buys the same mushroom you are interested in, the chaga mushroom. Mm-hmm. So that's where it all got started. And he sells the chaga mushroom, and we were thinking that maybe we could also do something like this, because it's a unique mushroom and it doesn't really grow everywhere. It only grows on birch trees and only in the northern hemisphere, in the colder climates, in Northern Europe, in Northern America, in Siberia. And we got really interested in that because we hadn't, either one of us hadn't tried it yet. And we also saw so many people around us struggling with diabetes and chronic heart disease and obesity. And that's when we connected the dots, that we can bring something to the marketplace that is unique and actually beneficial for the people. And we can help other people improve their health. Because I was thinking, what kind of impact it makes if someone in your family is sick. It's not only the person's problem who is sick, it's everybody's problem around them. Even if your whole family is healthy and you get a life-threatening disease, how will other people feel? And there's not much real information out there when it comes to health and nutrition. And what we also discovered at the same time is that about 80% of all the mushroom products don't contain any mushrooms at all. Let that sink in for a moment. They're just selling grain. They're grinding up the grain, which has some mushroom mycelium, also known as mushroom roots. And they grind it up and they package it. And nobody checks it. And they can get away with that. Yes, it's slightly cheaper, but it doesn't have any positive effect on your health. You're just wasting money. And maybe some people have tried it before and they have been disappointed because it didn't work, but they didn't get the real thing. And most companies just have great marketing, but they just don't live up to the hype.
Yeah, and I was also so fascinated by your website and like all like tiniest details. It looks good. It has all the information, and it's a really kind of a new project. You just started in October 2019, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So can you also share with us that process of starting your own business? That's especially with, it wasn't your first business, but still, you know, to kind of turn into like a completely new area and new stuff. It's quite challenging, I can imagine, especially if you have something to do with food or like food supplements.
It wasn't my first business, but it was the first business that I felt really passionate about, like a business that has a why inside it, because I couldn't imagine myself doing something just to make money, because it's boring. I wanted to wake up in the morning and feel excited. And like I said, that it all started with the chaga mushroom. So the first months of starting were just research. And we were so focused. We were just reading every bit of information that we could find from all kinds of reputable sources. And we found this. In total, we were interested in 7 medicinal mushrooms. They are the most well-known and the most researched ones. And we tried to gobble up as much information as we could. And it was so fascinating for us. So the next thing we had to do was we had to find the supplier, like where they grow the mushrooms, and we had to think about the packaging and everything. And there was some struggles, of course, but the why is always bigger than the problem then that you're trying to overcome. And it took us about 6 months to actually launch the product, because we wanted to make sure that it's really good and it's just not another Me Too product. And today we can say that people love it, and it has helped many people improve their health. And also the feedback is one of the highest on the Amazon.com.
And you have had several times when you sold out because the demand was so big.
Yeah, I think the time of the launch couldn't be any better because of the situation that is going around with us. Mm-hmm. Because all medicinal mushrooms can improve immunity, and I've tried it out on many of my friends who have got COVID, and I can say that they have been fully well in 2 days with no issues whatsoever.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, why isn't anyone talking about it?
Because drug companies are not interested in that. It's simple as that.
Mm-hmm. So can you now tell a little more of the benefits of the chaga mushroom, for example, as this is something which is maybe probably also much easier to get access to in most part of the world. What's the maybe 2 or 3 main benefits which you could say like this mushroom helps us with?
The chaga is really good for the immunity. It's one of the best ones, and research has shown that it can increase the activity of killer cells by 300%. And killer cells are part of the immune system, and it's also really high in melanin. It's a hormone that creates pigment for our skin and also for our eyes, and actually it can be used as a topical product as well there are many skin creams, and it's super natural, and it can heal different kinds of wounds. And also, when you have these dark spots from getting too much sun, then it can actually fade them away when you use it regularly. Wow. It's also great to drink as a tea, and it helps with the digestion. If you have issues with that, then it just clears up the digestion. I'm not saying that you running to the toilet or something, but it can fix things up in your stomach and can create a balance there. It's really fascinating what it can do.
And what's the recommended amount per day to take that one in?
We usually recommend starting with just 1/2 of teaspoon per day, and maybe about 1 gram, and you can then work it up to 2 grams per day. It's the official that we recommend. But if you have something more serious, then we could recommend increasing the amount a little. And we would also recommend that you take it once in the morning with food and once in the evening. So the substances that are working for your body are constantly present in your bloodstream. And that's what has worked very well for people who are sick.
Can you overdose with this mushroom?
We've studied that quite a lot, and we haven't found a single incident. So if you don't go crazy, then I don't see anything that would happen. The only disclaimer is that there may be some people who are allergic to mushrooms, but it's not a common allergy to have, because I know many people have allergies to nuts, but with mushrooms, the percentage of people who are allergic to them is maybe 0.2 to 0.5%.
So I have heard this is also like, a rumor, gossip going around. So you as an expert, you can now say how this thing is. But some doctors have said, like, it's not good with mushrooms because it actually supports fungus, which you already have in your body. What do you say about that?
I think the fungus that is bad for the body is candidiasis, but these types of mushrooms, they don't actually grow in your body. They just they actually help create synergy in the body. Mushrooms are also interesting because they are called adaptogens. So they mean they help regulate different processes in the body. For example, if your blood pressure is too high and you take a mushroom, then it will help bring it down to the optimal level. And the opposite is true as well. If the blood pressure is too low and you take the mushroom extract, then the blood pressure will actually start rising up. So it actually knows what your body wants to have optimally and helps achieve just that.
So it's a good balancer, like a little, bunch of warriors go into your system. It's like, oh, we need to fix this. Like this one is too much and this one is too little, so let's fix it. So they go in and they fix things and get things in balance.
Yeah, that's how I like to think about the mushroom extracts as well. They're like little workers repairing everything. Yeah. Because each mushroom has its unique superpower. And they are similar in some ways, but in other ways they synthesize completely unique compounds that are not present in any other herb or plant.
So what's your dream with your business partner for your business? What's like, where would you like to get with this? Like, do you see different kind of products? Like, can we buy mushroom cream in the future to, topically put our skin? How many different types of mushroom food supplements are you guys planning to throw into the market?
We have a really simple vision to help millions of people improve their health with medicinal mushrooms. And we're planning to release at least 20 products in the next 2 years. We can release them in powder form and in capsule forms. We can also create different matchas or lattes or coffee with medicinal mushrooms. We can create chocolate bars with organic cacao and add some mushroom extracts in there. But
Yeah,
basically,
I think, yeah, when you talk about chocolate bars, that would attract lots of people.
yeah, you can combine healthy and tasty, and it's what something that creates sustainability, and you can keep on track with that. If you
Yeah.
don't really like the taste of something, then it's not likely that you're going to consume it for prolonged periods of time.
I remember my first time when I got like organically made, basically handmade chocolate, and the feeling and experience was so different. And after that, of course, the regular chocolates were not really doing much for me anymore. So, but I still have a little extra relationship with Kalev chocolate, the chocolate from Estonia, because it's also connected to lots of childhood memories and so on. And now after WILDFIT, then of course I will do it maybe very, very rarely, but yeah, it's really cool that you are thinking about chocolate too. So I will now share the screen. So if you listen this in an audio format, so check out also our YouTube channel, because I want to show this beautiful website Kris and his partner have put together, so that all of you can also get a little experience how this looks, and then you can go and check it out yourself, and then you can, Kris, say some words about it. So here is the main page. So people can come here, and you have the products here. We have the Limitless Lion's Mane. So can you say some words about this one?
This is my favorite medicinal mushroom, because after Chaga, it was the first one actually I tried for a longer period of time. And at that point, I was pretty in pretty bad shape, like physically and mentally as well. I had a serious brain fog, and I abused coffee just to get by the day. And often I had drank 3-4 coffees before lunchtime. And in 1 month, I created quite big positive changes for me and my business partner and friend. And that's why it always has special place in my heart. And they're all very awesome. Actually, Lion's Mane is the first one we have, and we are one by one releasing all these products.
Mm-hmm. And I also love the packaging, looks really nice and very inviting, and that you also have the picture of the mushroom. So it's like it looks very exotic and very like calling in, like, okay, I want to read more what's on the label and so on. And one thing you said in another podcast I listened, you said once you start to buy products with mushrooms, there are certain things you should check in the ingredients. So can you say a couple of words, like how do you know that this is like a really good product, and what to look for if someone who is not mushroom educated yet, like goes, it's a jungle, there's so many products, like how to navigate with that?
Yeah, it can be tricky, but if you know the basics, then you are very well off. So the first thing I would do is that I would check if the package has the beta glucans content listed on the package. Like, for example, this Lion's Mane has more than 25% of beta glucans in it. And why it's important is that low quality products don't list the number there, because they only may have 2 to 4% of beta glucans in them. And also, there's a big difference between a mushroom powder and the mushroom extract powder. So mushroom powder is just a dried and grinded mushroom. Yeah, it's we are actually launching these products on Monday, and they will be available.
And then you have it also up on Amazon, so you can just go there and get it. It's really cool.
Yeah, we found that Amazon is the most reliable of logistics and warehouse, and it's also the quickest. When a person wants to get their brain boost in just 1 or 2 days, they can have it, but other channels are unable to provide it.
Mhm. And here I wanted to also show the picture of how the Chaga mushroom looks like. So to describe those who are listening, just the audio one, it's attached to the birch tree, and it looks like kind of dark bluish black thing, just kind of attached to it. So it's very interesting looking. And you have actually here, you have the journal where you have lots of different articles, and you have like a whole article about it, like what it does. And so you can go deeper into it and see also, you here have the antioxidant value comparison. So there is lots of valuable information here you can check out. So also what it does to the skin and so on. So well done, superb.
Yeah, for the people who are living in colder climates, then you might find chaga mushroom yourself, and it grows on birch trees, like I said, and you can find it from pretty much anywhere in northern hemisphere. But there are some tricks that you should know. Is that the chaga mushroom is the strongest during the months of November and February, because where it gets its strength is that it accumulates so many different vitamins, minerals, and different substances that are immune boosting to survive the winter. So if you try to take it in the summer months, then it's not that potent. So you should take that into consideration.
So harvesting around that time frame would be better. You would get more potent product in a way.
Yes, it would be best to harvest it in December or January if possible, because it's the prime time. Mm-hmm. And when you harvest it, you can chop it into like half a fist size chunks, then dry it, not with high heat, because high heat destroys all the beneficial compounds in it. But when you have dried it, you can grind it up into a powder, and it will stay good for at least 2 years when you keep it in a cool, dry place. And then you can make an extract from it. You can make tea from it, which is really great tasting. It's like earthy tasting, but it's really interesting. Mm-hmm. And you must try it out for yourself.
Yeah, so people can go. We put the website address also in the notes, so they can go in there and read more and get more educated. So. And one of the things I'm always very fascinated about when I hear stories of people who have found their spouses, and they have been together for a long time, and you have been together with your spouse for 8 years. And can you share with us like how you guys met each other? And what are maybe 2 or 3 keys how you keep it going?
Yeah, when we met, then at this point, I didn't believe in true love or infinite love or love until we die or something like this, because the past relationship had broken my dreams, and I just let it go. It's just I don't care. If love comes, then it comes, and if it doesn't, then I can be happy alone as well. So at that point, I was like, I don't need that. If it comes, then I'll be happy. But I was happy alone as well. And how we met was that we went to visit somebody with my friend. He knew 2 girls, and they sometimes just hang around to, I don't know, to play cards or just chat. And this time around, he was asking me to come together with him. And I actually went to visit my girlfriend for the first time. And that's when I felt that something is different. Like I was a bit like anxious, and something was not like usual. Mm-hmm. And but I think about the secret, what has kept it going for so long and so strong, is that we don't have attachments to each other. We don't expect much from each other. We take it as a gift that we spend time together. And of course, we had some tough moments when things are not going well and we are both feeling stressed out, but we managed to overcome them. We just hit pause for a moment and we don't keep arguing. We just let things settle down, and then we just hug and talk, and it's good again. And then we don't remind all these past incidents when somebody said something wrong or did something wrong. We just keep it locked away. It's gone, and we have learned a lesson from it. And also, our daughter has really unified us. So it's like a mission that you do together. A child is like a lifetime project, and I think that has, in one way, it has separated us, but in another way, it has kept us stronger, because we have something to fight for.
And I love the story. Prior you were meeting her, because I think that's such a crucial key, that so many people are looking for someone to fill themselves and so on, that you actually had that happiness alone first, and then you will also most probably attract a person who is almost similar there, so it's not like, super clingy and super attached to each other. So you are two independent people, and then you can start the relationship completely from like a different ground or different setting. So that really is like an amazing story, which is kind of reminding my own story with, meeting Michael was kind of the same way. I just traveled to 30 countries, 14 years, and like, I just give up this mission of finding my Mr. Perfect. And then 1 month later, we just sailed in Mexico Village, and we started to get to know each other. And I was like, oh my God, like what an amazing person. And the same thing, we were in our own space, we were okay. And then, figuring out like, okay, what's here. So now, as being a father, you have a daughter. So I really loved how you put it in your introduction that, you have decided to get out of poverty, and then also like, okay, what's my legacy? What can I like leave to my future kids? What knowledge can I give to them? And abundance is something which so many of us, we think that it's only money, but of course it's so many more things. And you've touched some of them, like, doing business from your why and happiness and helping people and so on. But what are, some other elements of abundance you have learned, and what you will teach to your daughter in the future too, like maybe 3 or 4 key elements?
Yes, I think abundance is a combination of things. But for me, it has always been the freedom of choices that I can make each day. And when I wake up, that I can do pretty much what I want. I have obligations for sure, but when I started my personal journey and my business journey, then one of my goals was to quit the daily grind, like the mindless grind, just working for money and focusing one thing and being negative and everything like this. So for me, one of the biggest values has been the freedom, like that I can be in control of my life and eat what I want and be where I want and associate with people that I want. And that's one of the things. And for me, it hasn't really been about the cars and the big houses. That's for sure. I think they are nice to have, but they are not the most important. And also, I think it's really a mindset, like a peace of mind, because I know that some people have really high incomes and they are still considering them really poor. They just think they don't have enough all the time. And I think these people are actually much more poor than the people who have lower incomes but who are happy every day. It's really about the mindset.
Yeah, and it's so true. I so agree. Like have visited some countries where people don't have much, like, in South Africa, I visited my friend in one of the townships, and it was really tragic because we had to like reschedule meeting her there many times, because every time we had scheduled, it came out that she had to go to another funeral, and they had AIDS, they had like shootings, they had so much like bad stuff going on. But I didn't give up, and everyone told me like, Krista, you shouldn't go there, you're white, and it's mostly like black township, they will eat you alive and so on. And I knew that my friend is never gonna let that happen, and I am a hard person, and I want to see how they are doing it. And just seeing how like scarce, conditions they lived in, how happy they were, how, open and heart, warming welcome I got, like whenever I, went there, and, all the people who were introduced to me. So it's like completely different what, the media is, making the picture about it. So that's a really good thing also for people who are maybe used to even like safety, to take it for granted. I remember after being in South Africa and living there for some time, I went back to Norway, and I went outside to run around the lake at 11 p.m. and feeling so grateful that I have a country where I can do that safely, and I don't need to think about like, someone jumping out of the bush and saying like, give me your ring, and if you don't give the ring, they just cut your finger. So yeah, crazy stuff like that. And then, really appreciate like what you have already. And I really like your connection also to how to help others. And I think we are getting into the world now where more people should think like that. So you're a really amazing example, and I'm totally sure this will grow really, really big with the way you are going and the rate you are going.
It's our duty to help people. It's not about us. It's about other people. We want to help other people just thrive and live their life to their fullest. But they need help for that, because it's a requirement. What's the use of material things when you just feel bad all the time and you can't enjoy anything?
Yeah, it's true. And the title of our podcast actually touches this into, abundance in action. So it is the belief that, once you start to serve and once you start to share your gifts, that's abundance will follow in so many forms. And especially if you do it from the heart and for the good of all, it will also show up in numbers. So that's a really good way to go. So now, one really important topic also, which you have touched on, is dreams. And I like the question you were asking also. So here in the beginning, so whose dream are you living or building? And so many times people are just like zombies and robots and not thinking about it. But as you said, we all have the choice and freedom. So what would you tell people? What would be those maybe first 3 steps they could start to work with their dreams? I know so many people may get lost in excuses and like, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that. I mean, you didn't have many of those things either before you started your second business, So what would you say to encourage them, like to start to work on their dreams or with their dreams?
First of all, I would be grateful for what you have. That's one of the key elements of how I feel abundant and how I create abundance in my life. I used to do a gratitude journal each day, but I decided that I wouldn't do that because it would be too many things to write down every day. So now, whenever I do something, I just feel grateful. When I prepare a meal, I'm saying that I'm really grateful for the food I have on the table. When I see my spouse, I say that I'm grateful for seeing her and that she's being with me, and that's a gift. And also for the material things, that I have a nice home and I have all that I have. And just get creative. Like open your eyes and your mind whenever you go somewhere. Look at all the creation and imagine the possibilities that are out there. Everything that you see has been created by the universe using people and resources as a tool. It's I think the school system has really shrunk our imagination, just using one side of the brain, but we can unlock that using meditation and visualization. And for me, what really worked well was writing down my dreams and putting photos next to it. It's like a vision board. And even if I didn't look at it often, then now, several years later, when after I had completed that, I understood that many of these things had come to completion. It's like automatic. You don't actually have to work hard to get to your dreams. Because I like the saying that however creative you are, the universe is much more creative than you are.
Yeah, it's so true. And I so agree with this also. Like, I always see that when you write down your dreams, it's almost like, creating a menu for the universe to know, like what to deliver. And then, once you have it down, you can also start to take those first steps, and it kind of becomes this tangible thing. And it's like starts to create itself and starts to have its own life, and then all of the people and possibilities will come to join in. And then if you also learn and are in that kind of phase that where you know that, okay, I can actually co-create with the universe, and you include it and also listen to your intuition and stuff, then it will become a really, really fun process.
Yeah, and I think that many dreams are actually connected with our family, that we are willing to do a lot for other people. And for example, my own dream is to buy my mom a house, because she was born in the Soviet Union, and there was not much information about creating wealth or abundance in their life, because information was locked away and books were hidden away and destroyed. And I see that she is struggling to create her dream. So, and I also always used to think that everybody has to work for their own dream, and they have to manage it, like they have to be able to create it. But why couldn't I create it for her? Because I'm part of this universe and I'm part of her family. And I got the idea about 2 years ago that I could do this, that it would be a huge surprise for her. Yeah, and I'm going to do this because
Very cool.
she has a dog, and she's living in a small apartment, and the dog doesn't have much room to run there, and she wants to have her own garden where the dog can run around, and she likes to go outside in the early mornings with the sunshine, and even in the winter she went out to get cold exposure and walk in the snow, and it's really fantastic.
Yeah, and Estonia is really opening up. I mean, as my husband is a real estate investor, so we looked some like properties and stuff up. Like you can get some really good deals and possibilities. Of course, you may need to like fix it up a little bit, but already like with 10,000, 20,000 euros, you can get something really like, a good deal over there. So it's really cool. So now imagine that you come to the end of your life, and you look back and you basically are like, okay, I'm done. I self-actualized myself. I did all the things. What would you like your, legacy to be? What is it you are leaving behind for others and other generations to come behind or after you?
I've always think about writing a book or 2 or 20, because it's something tangible, because it will stay here. And with this information age, there may be some kind of crash or cyber storm, cyber war, or magnetic storm, and it will be all like gone. But I would also like to be a good example for my children, and I would like to leave my legacy through them, so they would learn from me, and they would even be better versions than me, and then they would even compound my legacy, and that would be double as good, because if they want to continue my legacy, then that would be a big honor for me, because oftentimes parents want to force on their children something that they didn't realize. Like if your parent wanted to become a doctor and they didn't, then they want their children to become doctor. But if the children want to do what you are doing, then that's a good example for this. And I would also like to help people in each area. Like I want to help people come out of poverty, and one of my dreams is also to found a investment school for kids, because I think that's the right time to start. If they get it right from an early age, then they will have an abundant life. They will never have any financial problems. I think that the school system is really lacking in that part. And people, parents are starting funds for the kids for college when they are young, but I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't even have to do that if they invested the same amount in their kids' education when they are really young. Then they can create anything in their life that they wanted. They will never have these problems, like that they cannot go to school and pay for this or that. I mean, that would be a real gift for the kids.
Yeah, and I know nowadays we have even, millionaires who are 6 years old because they just started a business online or whatever. So it's a really smart way to look at it. And I think it's complete like future, how it's going to be. So, wow, that's like really, really amazing ideas. And I think it's just beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And now you have actually been so kind, and you are going to gift our listeners and viewers this beautiful ebook called 7 Biohacking Secrets for a Better You. And I show here in a video version also how it looks. And it has quite many pages. And it talks about those 7 secrets. So what can you do? Can you say some words about this ebook? But why should they read it?
They should read it because I think that supplements are not the only thing that can improve your health. I think that they are just one part of it, but by no means we are saying that if you just take supplements, then your health problems will magically disappear. That there are other elements into having a vibrant health. And in this book, I'm talking about 7 ways you can improve your well-being and your sleep and your appearance. That most of them are cheap or just free. For example, I'm talking about movement, having fresh air. I'm having about reserving time for yourself, relaxing. The best ideas come from when you're sitting in a sauna or walking in a forest. They don't come when you're just busy all the time.
And I even love how you actually explained a little more and described a little more about the effects of sauna. As myself also from Estonia, so I remember every summer when I get there and we stay there a little longer, I always look for some kind of spa, because so many times those spas are actually in hotels or some places, and where you also have a little gym. So I usually go to the gym first, and then usually they also have a pool or something, so I go to the pool after that, and then I do the whole rounds of different saunas. And it's so like cheap compared to like over here, you have to pay like 10 times that just for one visit. And there you can have like just recently I was there, it was like 50 euros for the whole month's like package to do that. And once I started to do that every like week, like at least 3 times a week, like, oh my God, I was like, whenever I'm going to build a house, sauna is going to be the first thing we build there, in addition to the pool. Yeah.
That's a great idea, because I've noticed on myself that going to the sauna regularly actually has improved my cardiovascular health, because the pulse is going up when sitting in a sauna, and it's like working out, but you don't have to do anything. It's crazy how it works. It also improves your circulation and your sleep, and cleans up everything from the body, the toxins, and it's highly recommended.
And that's also maybe one of the reasons why our, ancestors and Estonians way back when, they were very healthy, because they did lots of physical work. They grew their own food, and they had sauna at least once or twice a week. So they sweat out all the toxins. They ate the food they grew themselves. So simple life, and health was also showing it. So maybe something for all of us to think like, okay, how can we simplify and do little things to improve and optimize our health?
I really love the saying that if your grandma didn't eat it, then you shouldn't eat it as well. When we look at the food industry, and then in the last 50 years, they've created some kind of weird food choices in the supermarket shelves, and it's not something that we should eat. We should go back to the nature. And it's also how our company's name came from. Nutriante. It's like nutri is like nutrition. It means that we will use pure organic nutrition, and anti means before. So it's like nutrition before us. And we intend to only use the things that have been used by past generations. We don't try to synthesize something completely crazy new. We just go back to the nature, and we intend to keep it organic and pure, and we don't mix it up with any kind of chemicals or additives that are not useful.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful concept, and also the word. So Ante also is kind of sounds like ancestors. So it's really cool, and I so agree. And that's also one of the reasons why I really love WILDFIT. Also, like that nutritional anthropology detail there. Like, okay, what did our ancestors eat, and how, and what can we take from that and implement here and now? So. And as we went through it, and many thousands of others have done, we are a proof that it really works. So something there to check out for others as well. So thank you so much, Kris, for this beautiful time. It was amazing to dive into your world, to hear your stories and educate, more about mushrooms. So now maybe when people also read or hear about mushrooms, they know a little more. And then they can also go and buy it. So check it out, and then let you know how it is.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so great to talk to you, and I'm so passionate about sharing the message of Nutriante with the world, and I truly hope that people become more aware of their health, and not only for themselves but also for their family, for their kids or future kids. It's just a big treasure to be in good health, and you can never underestimate it. As long as you have health, you can have anything else. So thanks for having me. It was so fun.
Thank you so much too. And you had so many treasures, abundant treasures you shared with us, and you are a great example how to create abundance and put it into action. So once again, another story, finding out your why and figuring out your talents and passions and mixing it all together into a beautiful cocktail, and then serving it and sharing it with the world. So in your case, beautiful cocktail with medicinal mushrooms. So thank you so much and all the best with your projects. We'll put all your links below this podcast so you can check it and go and shop some mushrooms right away. Thank you so much for listening and watching our podcast today. And I hope you really enjoyed and liked ideas and motivation for your life and what you are up to. And please, as always, to help this podcast to succeed, please share, like, and comment, and also review on all of the platforms where you can find it. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Mahalo.